I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I mean, come on. With all the motions that are being filed, and you got to think about it like this: the state does not want another mistrial, another anything other than guilty or innocent. They want an end to this case because it's been dragging on forever, right? Now, they don't want no hung jury. They don't want any of that. And with all the stuff that's been the distractions that's been coming up in this case, we knew that it was going to happen. So, YNW Melly's trial has a new start date. It has been moved forward to February of 2024. Let's talk about that. So, the judge has granted the prosecution's request for extra time to prepare, pushing the opening arguments back to February 5th of 2024. I wouldn't call it back. I would say pushing it forward to even more forward to February of 2024. That was coming. Matter of fact, the prosecution requested more time before. YNW Melly's attorneys rejected that. They said they did not agree. They were ready to go to court right now. Matter of fact, they had questioned the judge. They said, Your Honor, it's not our fault that they've been doing what they've been doing. They've had this case for almost 5 years. So the fact that they're not prepared should not tamper with our client's legal rights. We're going forward. Matter of fact, speedy trial is what we're doing. But in the process of them saying speedy trial, they started to throw a lot of stumbling blocks and obstacles in the way, right? So Broward Circuit Court Judge John Murphy, the judge who's presiding over this case, has granted a request from YNW Melly's prosecutors, not from his attorneys. This is from the prosecutors, for extra time to prepare for YNW Melly's murder retrial, pushing that starting date to February 5th of 2024. Now, Assistant State Attorney Alexandra Bukalu, however I say it, people are in arms about the way I say it. Bukalu. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Taylor Collins and Justin Griffiths. Those are the three attorneys that are on the case, right? As prosecutors. They requested from the judge some extra time. And they argued in court that all these recent developments in the case, it's not just, oh, we have the same case that's been sitting there for almost 5 years. It's a lot that's been going on. New developments in the case. For instance, to include the recusal of its former lead prosecutor, Christine Bradley. Christine Bradley was the one that had the case for years, and she got kicked off the case. So this case falls in our lap, Your Honor. And now we have to go through this case. See, a lot of people are under the impression that Christine Bradley had the case, but everybody else was working the case from behind the scene. So in case Christine Bradley was not able to go through with the case, somebody else could just pick the ball up and keep on running, which is absolutely not the case in this case. And I've said this before, I'm kind of disappointed in the state that the state did not have a backup and another backup. Like, they should have placed 3 prosecutors on this case from the beginning. That way, if one went down, just like how Christine Bradley got put off the case, if one went down, then the other 2 knows the case inside out, back and forth, and could have just kept on going with no delay. But these 3 prosecutors are saying we know absolutely nothing about the case. And as we are getting to know the case, all these new developments are being added to the case. Like the new witness tampering charges that have been filed against YNW Melly and his co-defendant YNW Bortland. And also all the other anticipated preparation we have to do for this process, not to mention all the motions that have been filed, added to the case by YNW Melly's attorneys. The same people who are saying speedy trial, no breaks, gas all the way, we're going through. And then they throw hurdles in the way by filing another motion and another motion and another motion. Judge Murphy's ruling comes after he dismissed an entire pool of prospective jurors just last week, following a complaint by the state alleging that the defense had misstated the law to the panel. Spoke about this in the last video I gave to you guys. In a filing that was obtained by Law and Crime, shout out to Law and Crime, they claimed that Melly's team had told the would-be jurors, the ones who were dismissed, that in order to prove him guilty for murder, that the prosecutor or the prosecution would also need to show that he is in a gang. Indeed, Melly's indictment does contain a gang enhancement in it, but a jury could find him guilty with or without proving that he is an alleged gang member. Side note, Melly is seen in countless videos throwing up his hand sign, his gang sign. They've brought in a gang expert, Detective Polo, who does this for a living and has been doing this for years. Detective Polo speaks with his fingers like these gang members out in the streets. He knows the lingo. He's verified that YNW Melly is definitely a gang member. But whatever. His attorneys are saying, you know, they can go to court and be like, well, maybe he is just associated with some people that are in a gang. Or maybe he just throw the hand signs up because they look good in the music videos and that's what's trending in urban music now. They could say whatever they want to say, right? So they can easily argue away that he's not in a gang. I mean, they weren't there and they have no video or no proof of him being jumped into the gang. But they also have text messages, communication, voicemails of him speaking with other people. Let me retract that. I don't know if there are voicemails. I remember watching the case and I remember reading text messages of him being coached by a more seasoned elder gang member who is a reputed gang member. And the person was telling him, like, you in a position right now to be a don, to be like, you know, like a king, like a don. You'll be given the orders and be up under the right person so they can guide you properly and all that. End of the day, when YNW Melly's attorneys got up in court and said to the jury that they have to find him guilty of being a gang member as well in order to find him guilty of murder, it was not so. And the prosecutor said, listen, objection, objection. And after the prosecutor said objection is when YNW Melly's attorneys go, well, Your Honor, we're going to have to ask you to strike this entire jury right here, or this entire potential group of jurors right here. The judge said, why? And they said, well, this potential group of jurors, they will forever be looking at us like we don't know what we're doing, since I got up and said this twice and the prosecution is saying I don't know what I'm talking about or I was wrong. So basically our credibility would be shattered with this pool of jurors. Said it before, I'll say it again. I think they did that on purpose for a reason on purpose. And at the end of the day, it served them their purpose, which was to stall this case longer. I honestly don't believe that they are ready to take this to trial. I think they're trying to drag this out as long as they can and get as much money out of this as much as they can because they know that YNW Melly cannot beat this case. Now, this whole case was originally scheduled to begin October 9th. And now we're in February of 2024 from October 9th of 2023. That's a hell of a jump, which makes me think what's going to happen to Cortland Henry's case, because Cortland Henry's case was supposed to start in January, and now they've pushed YNW Melly's case ahead of Bortland's case. Are they going to change Bortland's date too? You know, I said this before, I'll say it again. What they should have done was the state should have taken the death penalty off the table, should have put YNW Melly with YNW Bortland, and tried both of them together. But that's not what they did. So Melly's trial has been held up by motion after motion after motion after motion. That's been the biggest holdup in this. Motion after motion after motion. The last time I checked, it was about 30 plus motions that were filed. And the judge is saying there's no way the case can go on without addressing these motions first. It could lead to a mistrial. It could lead to other issues down the road. And he's trying to dot all the I's, cross all the T's, make sure everything is proper. So whatever result we get as the final result, it'll be that, and that will be that. They keep filing these motions. Now, the bulk of these pending paperwork and these motions, this is coming from YNW Melly's attorneys, the same people who are yelling, speedy trial, let's go. So I just put that out there so people know, because I'm watching the comment section, and you know, YNW Melly's fans, they're like, free Melly, but they're also saying, why does the state keep filing motions and keep holding up the case? They holding up the case because they know they don't have nothing on YNW Melly. I'm here to tell y'all that it's not the state that's filing these motions that keep on holding this thing up. It's YNW Melly's attorneys that are filing these motions. YNW Melly's mother, Jamie King, she has revealed that she is freaking heartbroken that her son won't face a jury of his peers until 2024. Now remember, she already made a video where she said, I go up there to the courthouse every day to see my son because that's the only way I can see him. He has no visitation rights. They've been taken away, and also his phone privileges have been suspended. So the only time I get to see him is when I go into the courtroom. Even though Alexandria Bukalu, the lead prosecutor on the case, she had asked the judge, filed in a motion to have YNW Melly's mom not come to the courthouse anymore, have her excluded from the whole process, the jury selection process. She was concerned that she might, tamper with the potential jurors, seeking sympathy from them through nonverbal actions, etc., etc. Anyways, the judge denied that, and she still had the right to be there, but she said in her own video on her own Instagram, this is for my son. I'm doing this for my son because I know that this department is corrupted, and I don't want them to use this against him, basically. So even though the judge said I could still be there and I did nothing wrong, I'm just going to take myself away from it, and I won't be showing up to any more jury selection. So which means in the long run, she won't be able to see Melly again until February of 2024. Now that's a kind of stretch, because, we're now in November. She got November, December, January, February, another 4 months before she can see her son. So right now, according to Hip Hop DX, his mom, Jamie King, has revealed that she's heartbroken that her son will not be able to face a jury of his peers until 2024. And again, it says the Miami Herald is reporting that John J. Murphy, who is the judge presiding over this case, ruled that the prosecutors will need more time to prepare for the YNW Melly's murder retrial. So opening arguments will not begin until February 5th of 2024. That's a lot of time. We're in November. So this will give them enough time to have the jury selected, well put together. All the lawyers are on their P's and Q's. Everybody will be able to go have a beautiful Christmas with their families if you celebrate Christmas, Kwanzaa, whatever else holidays there are out there. Bring in the new year and then get back to business, right? Now, that motion was filed by Assistant State Attorney Alexandra Bukalu, Taylor Collins, and Justin Griffin, which claimed that their workload is heavier than they realized, in part due to Christina Bradley being taken off the case and all the additional witness tampering charges that are now the witness tampering charges that are brought against YNW Melly. They cannot just go in court and be like, hey, he's witness tampering. They have to come with proof. So that in itself is a whole case. It's a whole folder by itself of evidence that will have to be gathered, because they're going to have to show in court, who was he talking to? How do you know he was tampering with witnesses? What activities were taking place that leads you to believe that this charge that you laid against him will stick? Show us, prove to us that he was. Same thing for YNW Bortland. They'll have to prove that as well. But this is not YNW Bortland's trial, even though YNW Bortland will be brought up in YNW Melly's trial, because it is said that YNW Bortland was in contact with YNW Melly while YNW Bortland was on the outside, which is completely forbidden, right? As such, they argued that they needed more time to prepare, and the judge agreed. Unfortunately, however, this means that YNW Melly will have to remain behind bars. So shout out to his fans for saying, okay, give him bail now then. Because y'all keep changing his date. That man has a right to, under the Constitution. He has a right to. Give him bail. Let him out. Y'all had Bortland out here for a while. Let Melly out. Let Melly chill for a minute. And then get ready for his trial. But that's not the case. See, people don't understand that this is a double murder case. This ain't no car accident where somebody died, and even worse, this isn't a drunk driver killed somebody accidentally. This is a intentional homicide, double murder case. And if indeed YNW Melly is guilty, like the state thinks he is, you're talking about a homicidal maniac. Did y'all see the way that YNW Juvy and Sakchaser were killed? Only a crazy person could do that. A stone cold murderer will do that. Or somebody who is mentally troubled will do that. That's a person who doesn't deserve to be out among people. Now, because the state believes that it's YNW Melly that did it, and there are so many circumstantial evidence that points a strong case towards YNW Melly being the person that did it, don't expect for him to get any bail while all these delays are happening. He's going to be remaining behind bars until February 5th, when the state and his attorneys will begin their opening arguments for his case. And his mother was devastated about the thought of that, of him having to wait that much longer. She said, quote unquote, "I'm sorry, kid," teary-eyed emoji, heartbroken emoji, is what she wrote on Instagram stories on Tuesday, November 14th. "I'm sorry, kid." Damn. The delay comes just 6 days after the court granted the defense motion to have the jury struck down thanks to a legal misstep by the state. It's thanks to a legal misstep by YNW Melly's attorney. A move that was met with strong counter by the prosecution. Now, in a memorandum of law filed on Wednesday, November 8th, and obtained by a couple of these outlets, Assistant State Attorney Alexandra Bukalu, she stated that she on behalf of the state of Florida, objects to the dismissal of the jury during the voir dire process due to the defense claim of an improper line of questioning. We went over that before. End of the day, what ended up happening was the judge struck the jury or potential jury. So that's where we're at now. Last month, Melly, his co-defendant, Bortland, and the third person, Terrence Mathis, they were charged with directing the activities of a criminal gang and unlawful use of a two-way communication device, as well as solicitation and conspiracy to commit tampering. So again, all these extra charges are being added on to the murder case. And this is one of the things that the prosecution had requested from the judge, not to try these things separately, but to have them added to the murder case. These, in addition to the original count of tampering with a witness in a felony, capital felony, that Melly and Bortland were charged with earlier this month, relating to the 2018 murder of YNW Juvy and YNW Sakchaser. Now, Mathis is an inmate at the Broward County Jail who allegedly helped Melly contact Bortland while Bortland was out on bond at the time of the alleged tampering. And the state, of course, says they have solid proof of that. The state claims that Bortland and Mathis assisted Melly in his efforts to convince his ex-girlfriend Mariah Hamilton and her mother Felicia Holmes to not testify in his first double murder trial. Now, I'm also thinking that if this is proven to be true, then there are charges that Felicia Holmes and Mariah Hamilton, mother and daughter, could be brought up on as well. An affidavit revealed that Bortland and Mathis had 60 different phone calls between March and August of 2023 in which they used various code languages to include A$AP Rocky's baby mama and Rihanna to allegedly hide their intentions, speaking in coded languages. YNW Melly is accused of conspiring with YNW Bortland to take the life of their friends, Juvy and Sakchaser, and stage their death as a drive-by shooting. We know that part already. So the real update is that there's a lot going on, but there won't be any opening arguments to this trial until February 5th of 2024. Leave your comments in the comment section below, and I'll catch you on the next video. Stay tuned. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell next to the subscribe button so you are notified every time a new video and a new update goes up on BrainFLoTv. I'm out. Peace.